are some things that just aren't quite worth the money, and if you end up buying them, you just might feel what they call buyer's remorse. Today we are going to talk about 11 things that aren't worth the money. But before we get started, if you are new here, my name is Jennifer. I make videos all about saving money through being frugal and implementing minimalism. I'm also documenting our journey to paying off our mortgage by the year of 2024 and ultimately being financially independent. So if any of that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, disclaimer, if you own one of the things on this list, don't hate me. To each his own. You may get amazing use out of it. Everyone values different things. You may agree, you may not. We are all entitled to our own opinion, and this one is just mine. This is all just meant for fun, but it may make somebody think twice about buying something that may not be a good investment. Buying something doesn't also have to be a good investment. If you get great use out of something and wonderful memories, then those memories are your investment. Number one are high-end washing machines. I have personal experience with this one. Electronics in something can be nothing but trouble sometimes. Whether that's a new car with all the bells and whistles and the electronics part of it, or it's a new washing machine. We bought the front-load washing machines, which a lot of people warn you against, and I think that there's actually a reason why they do that. Now, if you have one and it works out wonderfully for you, that's great. We bought one about 3 years ago and have already spent probably at least a third of the cost of it just to repair it. I have heard from many appliance repair people who say that the best thing to do when you're buying a washer or a dryer is just to buy a good name brand, but the lower model, you know, the ones with the old crank knobs on it. So if ours ends up breaking again and leaking again, we're just going to end up going back to an old school top load washing machine with not a lot of electronics involved. Number two are designer sunglasses. Again, I've got a personal experience with this one. Back in my early 20s when I was really dumb and purchasing a lot of stuff that I had no business doing so, I bought a pair of $250 Maui Jim sunglasses. Now, Maui Jim sunglasses are very nice. Would I love to have several pair of them right now? Absolutely, because they are very nice. However, it is not worth it because what ends up happening for most people is they drop their sunglasses and they scratch. They sit on them and they break, or they lose them. Now, have you scratched, broken, or lost a pair of sunglasses? If you haven't, then you must be, I don't know, a superhuman being because most people have done these things. But I bought that $250 pair of Maui Jims. I was so excited. We were going to the beach. I went to the beach with my family. Literally, we just got there, we were taking our bags up, and I had them on my head. And I dropped them on the ground, and they got a scratch on them. One that you could not see when you put the glasses on your face. Number three are aftermarket car accessories. You know, things like mufflers or new cool rims. If you want to put that on your car, great. But realize that a lot of people think that's a good investment, but you're really probably not going to get your money back out of that. We already know what a terrible investment cars are in general. Number three is courtesy of my husband when I asked him about ideas for this topic. So if you don't agree, you can yell at him, but he says lobster mac and cheese. He said that is just a waste of a good mac and cheese. Obviously, he just doesn't like lobster. Pools in your own backyard. Most of the time, you do not get back the value that you spent on that pool when you try to sell your house. It actually turns some buyers off from a house. Now, if you have a pool and you use it all the time, have at it. But just realize that if you get a pool, it may just be for your enjoyment for that time, and you may not get your money back out of that investment. Number six are luxury cars. Cars get you from point A to point B. And we all, again, know how quickly cars lose their value. Not only do cars lose their value quickly, but luxury cars typically require you to buy more expensive gas, which is going way up really quickly. And two, the maintenance on them is insane. Number seven are expensive weddings. Now, you know who gets the most benefit out of expensive weddings? Guests. So I do love going to an expensive wedding. However, having an expensive wedding is another thing, because what you don't realize, getting married is you end up having to greet and chat and mingle with everybody at your wedding. So all of the expensive food and drinks and DJ that you ended up paying for, you probably aren't going to get to enjoy. Personally, my favorite part of getting married was the rehearsal dinner. It was just a close-knit amount of people. We had time to eat, enjoy, and conversate between each other. That is one of the things that I remember the most about my wedding. I loved my wedding, don't get me wrong. Would I do it again if I had to? I would probably do things differently and make sure that I carved out time for myself and my husband to eat and enjoy. I think I was able to drink half of a glass of wine at my wedding. Number 8 are RVs. Now, I know a lot of people who have RVs absolutely love them. Retirees get a ton of use out of them, but they are also extremely expensive and very expensive to upkeep. And how do I know that a lot of people end up regretting buying them? Well, you can simply go online in your town to see how many used RVs are up for sale. That's an indicator that a lot of people have probably made the purchase and regretted it. Number 9 are pool tables. Again, if you have room for one of these and you want one of these, have at it. Just the same as anything on this list. But typically pool tables only get used when people have guests over. And unless you're a party house, you probably don't have guests over all the time. So often pool tables end up becoming what I like to call storage tables, or a wonderful surface for doing laundry. You know, folding it up, putting it in the right stacks. Number 10 are boats. And there are 2 common sayings that you probably have heard which help me to reiterate this one. And the first one is, have you ever heard that the best 2 days in a boat owner's life are the day they buy it and then the day they sell it? Or the phrase, it's better to have a friend with the boat than to end up owning a boat yourself. These are also very expensive and very expensive to upkeep. Again, another indicator is just to go online and see how many boats are actually up for sale in your area. And it's very difficult to resell boats. I've heard this from many people because there just aren't a lot of a big pool of buyers for them, right? You probably want to be around some sort of body of water. And if you're not, you're probably not going to have a lot of people that are interested in buying it. Number 11 is backyard play equipment. As parents, we have the best of intentions, right? And when I talk about play equipment, I'm talking about the swing sets, the slides, the trampolines. I don't know what it is, but I seem to always notice this. I notice all of these wonderful play sets and trampolines in backyards and communities and neighborhoods all over the place, right? It is very rare, maybe 2 to 3 out of 100 times have I actually seen a child playing on one of these. Our kids are more interested in going to a park or a playground where there are other kids, whether that's your neighborhood playground or a park nearby, to play on those play sets, just because they're more fun and interesting. What ends up happening is you just see trampolines rusting in backyards and play sets just sitting there rotting. So that is my list of 11 things that may not be worth the money or maybe aren't a good investment. What do you think is not a good investment that you see a lot of people end up buying and regretting? Putting it down in the comments. I would love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, make sure you hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.